Hi, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the SoCal Prep Report. Rich Estrella, along with Bob Gibson, Mo Orr, Randy Rosen will be joining us shortly with some LA City Section news, and of course, Carlos Pena will be joining us talking about the high desert. He has the three-part series talking about officials, the lack thereof, how to get involved, so forth and so on. And also today, we're going to talk to the CIF Southern Section new scoring champion, Jarrod Lucas will be joining us from Los ALtos High School, getting ready to head to Oregon State, embark on a whole new team, whole new career, Bob. Exciting times.
No, it is. I'm sure it is. You know, for the young man to have accomplished what he did here and to look ahead now to his future, the future is very bright for Jarrod.
All right, so all out of stuff today. We got to get rolling. Let's take a look now at the top 10. By the way, we are coming to you from the Yard House in Brea.
Top 10. I'm taking a look at what's coming up.
And the minute I said that, the lovely comes out with all the food. This is autumn here.
I'm looking at.
Wow, look at this. Woo! Very good. That's a standing O right there, guys.
That was chicken and waffles, chicken and pancakes?
I've had that before. That's really good.
Word.
Just letting you know. All right, let's take a look real quick. Scoreboard, top 10. Take a look at baseball. This will be the last week, man. Playoffs will start in about a week, week and a half. And we see at the top, Cypress still 22-3.
Are
yes.
you kidding me?
They're 9 of the last 10, Bob.
All right.
They even beat the Dodgers.
Hey, Angels. Angels.
Okay. Well, then that's
Padres,
not quite
maybe.
a feat.
Padres,
That's
maybe
not
we'll
much of
agree
a
on the
feat
Padres.
there, man. Minus Mike Trout right now. Anyways, Cypress followed by Orange Lutheran, Harvard, Westlake winning their last 5 in a row, Bob.
Yep.
Looking good. Huntington Beach checking in, 19-4. Ayala, they lost to Bonita twice last week, Bob. But remember, you're in league now. Nobody knows you better than your league opponents. For all you know, when you're in league, anything can happen. Let's just put it that way, all right? Everybody knows everybody. Everybody's hanging out with everybody. It's a big mess right now. Notre Dame, Sherman Oaks, 19-5, followed by Arcadia. Arcadia still 1 loss, 19-1. And your boys from Yucaipa have really stepped it up, Bob. They're 8 in a row now. They had a no-hitter last week from our boy Ty.
I like to think that when we showed up and we did the story on them, that's when they took off, right? We'll take some of that credit.
That's when they turned the corner, right? So
but that Yucaipa team right there, they've gotten hot and stayed hot, and that's really the key now is to keep that going through the playoffs. We'll see if that can happen, but big time baseball being played.
If they could pitch their ace every week, they would be fantastic, but they can't. It's not allowed.
Not every game.
Pitch count.
This was years ago, they would do it, but it's not. It's today.
Back in Rich Day, they pitched 400 pitches a game, and he was okay. Complete game.
We've been to this before. We've talked about the pitch count. The pitch count is a big lie. Come on. Nolan Ryan threw 269 pitches in a game against Louis Tiant. Louis Tiant threw 260 in the same game. 3 days later, they went at it again, Mo.
Look, if a 17-year-old
500 pitches in 2 games.
If a 17-year-old can't throw 300 pitches, who can?
I know, exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying right now. So, they're not. All right. Let's move on. Enough of this nonsense.
All right.
Taking a look at the rest of it after Yucaipa. Lisa Gale, number 9. South Hills in the 10th position. They are 14-5. And, we're missing Jay Serra and Servite in this meet. But, man, I think Jay Serra lost 5 games in a row, Bob. Justify it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Orange Lutheran really took control of the Trinity League, getting a couple there from Jay Serra. And the rest of that Trinity League is a mess right now.
Bobby Gibson would know.
I don't know who's going to come out of there. Even Mater Dei still got a shot at it coming out of as the third-place team there. If I had to handicap it, I would say maybe I kind of like Bosco a little bit. I saw them a week ago, too. David Hayes, the big left-hander, who I think is going to go pretty high in this coming draft as well. But he looks like he's maybe lead Bosco there. We'll see. They lost a tough one to Mater Dei in extra innings the other day, too. So hard to see how that's going to meter out.
I was a little surprised that last year, at this same time, there was 4 top teams in the top 10 from the Trinity League. Not so much this year.
Not anymore, man. It's all done. All right. That's the top 10. We're not going to spend a lot of time on it. We got to get moving. Don't forget, this is it. Probably next week we'll come up. We might have some playoff appearances. Maybe not. All right? We'll see. Who knows? All right. Take a look at softball real quick. Graphics, please. All right. Norco, 23-04.
No. Update. Breaking news. They lost.
When?
They lost back on the 11th. Their first loss. 35 game.
Bob, that was a miss from
No.
Bob's mind in the
30
liar.
no, no, no.
Look at this.
33 game winning streak out the door. 35 league game winning streak out the door. Santiago.
So what
got
are you
him.
thinking?
Santiago got him.
Are
in
they the
extra
new number
innings.
one now?
They played today.
yeah.
No, it's not.
The day we're
Norco's
taping,
still the best team.
They
Norco's
played
still
it.
the
They're
best
still
team.
the best team in the nation.
they are.
Don't twist it up, right? Norco's still
happens.
number one. Someone got him, and in a way, it's maybe good because they've had 5 days to think about it
Bob?
a little bit.
I don't
Started
know.
on him. What do
You
you
know,
think?
you know what I say. I say
5
if
days
you
to
lose,
think about it?
If you lose as the number one team, the team that beats you jumps to number one.
That's right.
Really? You want to
No.
make Santiago number one?
No, they got 5 losses
All
already.
right.
Probably more than that by now. Okay, listen, they're still number one. Let's just keep moving on. They're followed by Great Oak. Aside from that, it's Santiago. Santa Margarita, man. How come those guys aren't further up the ladder?
Well, you know, again,
They're
it's
better than that. They're
Again,
like 22-1 now.
Again, it's the Trinity League. Modern Day has made their way up. Rosary has a great team. You know, every year the Trinity softball, Orange,
Tell it, Bob, you
Orange
tell.
Lutheran is flying,
okay.
flying up with a bullet, as Casey Kasem used to say.
Bob, we're out of time, all right? Los Altos, Chino Hills,
I get
Orange
fired up about
Lutheran,
softball,
Lakewood,
man.
Ayala, and Upland will round out the top 10. Bob, you got to get the Lucases in here now.
I
Will
get
you
fired
please
up
go
about
get
softball,
them
but I
as
agree.
me and Mo
We
close
got
out
to
this
give Jarrod
segment.
his time here. Let's do it.
I'd like to thank the Art House again for hosting us here today as our studio gets finished up. They're on Brea Boulevard here in the city of Brea. You got to get out here and check things out. Also like to thank the KM3 Project for their sponsorship. They do a great job for people battling cancer. If you have some problems there, they can help you pay your bills as you're convalescing, so to speak, and it's a good charity to donate to if you don't have one already. Okay, we are now seated with the head coach at Los Altos High School. His name's Jeff Lucas, along with Jarrod Lucas, who just happens to be his son, and Jarrod Lucas is the reason for the season. He's the reason we're here today. Jarrod Lucas, this past season, as you know, set the all-time scoring record for the CIF Southern Section, that is. And Jarrod, first of all, congratulations. We've already had our say, but congratulations once more. That's a
Appreciate it.
big
Thank you.
feat, man. You
Thank
passed
you.
up some really good ball players.
Thank you.
Oh, Mo.
I mean,
I mean, I think the Martin DeRozan was even on that list
Yeah,
of
right,
people you
right,
passed
right.
up. So it's quite the accomplishment. We've always talked about how we don't really recognize players to the end of the season. There's just too much to do. Now we're at that point. And so, Jarrod, we talked earlier. I understand you're already headed to Oregon State, man. You're already there in your mind, right?
Right. Yep.
Talk about it. Talk about what's going to go on. Where do you go from here? What's the timeline? What are you looking forward to? What are you looking not forward to?
Well, you know, the thing for me is I'm just trying to get better every day. You know, I have 2.5 months till I get to Oregon State, and the big thing is just getting better every day. I obviously had one of the better high school seasons, I think, in Southern California.
One of the better.
So it's been a blessing, and it's just something that, you know, I'm just trying to get better with every single day and find a way to go to Oregon State and do the same thing as a freshman.
Now, Coach, you were the last player from Los Altos High School to go Division I. Now your son's the next. He's the second to the last guy. Or you're not the second to the last guy. He's the last guy now to get in. Talk about the mindset, getting a Division I scholarship, leaving your high school, being the big fish in the league, the big fish in the pond. In Jarrod's case, the big fish in CIF Southern Section. Mindset now going to the next level. What's it like? What do you remember?
Well, it's very challenging. I mean, people think it's easy to go play Division I basketball, and obviously at our school, it's, you know, hasn't been too many of us, and even in the San Gabriel Valley, you know, it's been limited to, you know, Division I players here and there. We've had some greats, you know, Casey Jacobson and Tracy Murray, who Jarrod happened to pass at Glendora High School, has had several, but, you know, and Damien has a few right now. But it's a challenging feat, and you have to really work hard, you know, on and off the court, and it's a tremendous feat for him to do this so far, and for me back 33 years ago, to do the same thing.
Jarrod, talk about, like, what do you do now? I mean, the mindset's got to change, doesn't it, a little bit?
Yeah, you know, I think it's, you know, you're playing with the big boys, you know, and for me, I got to go in there and I got to have that dog mentality. You know, it's my time, and, you know, obviously I got to blend in with a bunch of new guys, and so going in there and try to be a leader, you know, as only a freshman, but that's something I'm going to try to do right away.
I got a question for you, Coach. What kind of advice do you give him as a coach going to the next level and playing Division I basketball? And then you have to turn it around and now be a father and give him advice. What do you say?
I think on both ends, you know, you want to be positive and try to get the most out of him. You know, tell him to do his best. You know, he's good at a lot of different things. I try to talk to him about some of the weaknesses he has. I mean, things that aren't quite at high of a level that really are going to be important for him to get that playing time. I mean, we all know he could shoot and do a lot of great things. He's a great leader. but some of the things like, really work on your defense, work on rebounding, all the little things that kind of add up to being a great player.
All right, so now, Jarrod, you've had time to reflect on all this now. I remember we were out there at the games and we'd talk to you after ball games, and, the emotions are very raw at that time, man. You don't even know what's going on. You don't have time to, digest it. Now that you've had all this time, you've become the leading scorer in CIF Southern Section, which is a big deal because it's the biggest section in the nation, number one. Number two, you had your jersey retired. So the school gave you some love. Matter of fact, you're the first athlete to go on that Hall of Fame wall and have your jersey retired. So reflecting back now, what do you think of all this, man? Your high school career only. We're just talking, looking back.
Yeah, I think a big thing for me was I made the choice, or my family made the choice to stay home and play for Los ALtos, early. Or a lot of athletes now, they choose to go play for private schools, and I chose to stay home, and obviously it ended up working out for me, and I appreciate my school, for showing, retiring my jersey, being the first one. I couldn't have asked for anything better staying home but going to Los ALtos. And
that's got to be tough because I know how it is now in travel basketball with the NJBs and all this other stuff, AAU, and people are pulling. There's street agents out there going, man, you can come here and go play with my boy. This can happen. Great things can happen. But I applaud you for staying home. Los ALtos is not a basketball school, people. They're not. They're in Division I now.
Well, they were this year.
Come on, Rich.
They were this year. They're a basketball school.
Got to play at modern day and everybody else, but.
We won 94 games the last 4 years. Come on.
That's good, and that has a lot to do with coaching and, of course, the players that are there. Jarrod, I have a question for you. Just talk about the recruiting process and how that went for you. When did you figure out that Oregon State would be the college for you to go to?
The recruiting process would end up being I kind of ended a little short, but it's a long, grueling process. There's so many prestigious schools that recruited me. One, I'm blessed to be in the situation. God's blessed me with the talents to be in the situation. But I ended up choosing Oregon State because Coach Wayne Tinkle coaches his own son, and Stevie Thompson, who's on the staff, he coaches his own son as well. And then I just figured, there was no better fit. My dad coaches me, and it's always been a dream of mine to play in the Pac-12. And they're the only Pac-12 school that offered me, and so that's kind of that chip on my shoulder that I'm gonna go into Oregon State and have.
So basically, let me tell you what he just said. His dad wants to be an assistant coach at Oregon State. Come and get him! Come and get him!
Yeah.
We were kidding around at lunch, and I asked Coach Jeff, how much did you pay to get your kid into school because of the scandal going on and all that? And he brought up another, I didn't know you guys were starting your own shoe brand now. Why don't you tell us about that?
Well, I wish we were. I wish we were.
Oh, man.
In due time.
There's so much going on. But, I got to congratulate you, Jeff, keeping them grounded. It's not easy to do, especially nowadays with all the social media out there. You got, everybody's giving you props, so forth and so on. Everybody wants you to come play at their school. With all the distractions, you've been able to keep it together. And look, you took Los ALtos from a Division III school to Division I. I mean, that's impressive.
Yeah, we've made a big jump over the last 4 or 5 years. We went down in 3AA and up to Division I, and we were one of the only public schools left in Division I.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you.
After our win we had, and he's done a great job, and my wife's done a great job raising him, and we're happy with where we are, and we're wishing him the best of luck, and just his hard work and work ethic and dedication to the sport is going to really propel him down the road here.
Yeah, this is a fun family, guys. I got to tell you, at the award ceremony when they were retiring Jarrod's jersey after the game when he set the record, they're taking a family photo at the end, and I guess your other son came in really late. I mean, you guys were posing for a couple of minutes, and then finally here comes this kid flowing out of the stands, standing on people's heads, getting down to the floor, and then standing next to big brother and dad over here.
He's a volleyball standout right now for being a freshman. He made USA volleyball again this summer for 16U, so he's been having a lot of success in volleyball, so he's found his own sport.
See, that's what's cool, man. You got a basketball coach for a dad, but he's not trying to push you into his sport, and that's very commendable, Coach, because a lot of people, what they try to do, try to live to their kids.
He played a little basketball growing up. I think he really found that he really loved volleyball, and he's doing great at it. So.
Right.
What are you feeding your children? That's what
They're pretty big kids too. I gotta mention.
Currently, we're eating this Yard House right now.
That's true.
Yard House has the spread out here.
That's right. That's right.
Going on, man. So, Jeff, I guess the question for you is now you've had a great run. The last 4 years. Of course, Jarrod was a big part of that. I mean, made you look good. But what now for you, man? I mean, you got to go new season. How are you going to balance this? I guess what I'm asking between you got a son playing college basketball, you still got to coach your family, which is your basketball team. How's that going to work? Do you have any idea? Do you talk to anybody about that? How they do that?
Yeah, we talked. I mean, we're still going to do both. You know, I still want to coach. You know, we had our banquet, you know, a few weeks ago, and you know, my wife even talked at the banquet about you know, I have my family here, you know, and then I have my family as my players.
Right.
Absolutely. And my
That's what
other
it is.
players, their parents and stuff, and we have our family, and you know, we've had a lot of success, and we're going to continue that success, and we're looking forward to, you know, playing here the next several years without Jarrod, you know, and do the best we can, and we still have some guys coming back that there's some good players, and we're looking forward to where our program's headed right now.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm still going to watch his games too. You know, I'll miss a few coaching Los ALtos games. You know, we'll go on the road and see him play, but we're looking forward to that.
All right, most of it's going to hit the recruiting trail for you and try to get some standout athletes in the 6th and 7th grade to start coming to Los ALtos for you, Coach. All right?
That's right. That's right.
Listen, Jarrod, I gotta tell you, it's been a pleasure watching you this year. You made basketball season fun. This is one of those things, as we mentioned before, that comes around once in a lifetime. When you get an athlete to break the all-time record, you know, the aggregate of everything, and it's great to be there to see it in the front row.
Yeah,
And,
it was cool.
Yeah, I bet.
It was awesome.
You know, like I said, if I'm one of your teammates, man, that's the one thing I'll be bragging about for the rest of my life, was that if it wasn't for me dishing the ball to my boy Jarrod, he never would have set the record. So that's my lie.
I wanted to be the guy. I wanted to be the guy that set the all-assist record. I'd be passing it, just keep passing it to Jarrod. Yeah.
But hey, Jarrod, congratulations, great season, man. Really
Thank you.
appreciate
I
you coming
appreciate
in.
it.
And Jeff, continued success over there at Los ALtos, man. When I say it's not a basketball school, it's because if you notice, his school doesn't start with Saint so-and-so, you know, St. John Bosco, Saint Mater Dei, even though it's not Saint Mater Dei, but we're going to say that. Just give you an idea, there's not a saint in front of it. It's not private. It's a public school. It's a small school in the neighborhood. It's neighborhood kids only. And this dude's able to take them to the top and play with all the big recruiters. That's what I'm talking about, Coach. And I still got a few years of eligibility myself. I graduated midterm, so I can do this.
Bring you out this summer, maybe. Get out there a little bit.
Can you imagine? What a dog. All right, we're going to come back. Actually, Gio, not Gio, Giovanni, how you doing? Our boy Carlos Pena has this report. We come back, we'll be with Randy talking about LA City Section Sports.
To our second series of this roundtable. Again, I have Mr. Bill, Chris, and Coach Odom over here, and we were just talking about something very interesting, gentlemen. What do you have to say on that topic?
Well, as I said, it's been a concern of mine for a long, long time that I've witnessed this, that we're losing refs. We're losing the good quality refs, not just quality, but in sheer numbers. And it's kind of understandable. They don't get paid a lot. They take a lot of abuse, and it's not an easy thing to do. Even from a physical standpoint, refereeing takes its toll.
It does,
so you know, just like anything. In my experience, the better officials are the older ones. They're with their experience. Right. But when as they get old, their knees go too. Everything starts going with them too. Yeah. So there's a balancing act. There's going to hit your prime sometime, and after that, just physically, it'll take a toll.
So there's a lot of factors into the depletion of the referees. Number one, a lot of schools now, brand new schools. Number two, the age population of the referees is you know, the older referees are kind of phasing out. Pay is always the big thing there. You know, it's a touchy subject. What do we know about it?
Well,
what can you tell us about it? I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who's like, well, I don't know.
Obviously, if you start at the bottom and start working your way up and eventually get invited to become a Division I official or an NFL official, you're going to make some pretty good money. But at our level, a high school level, you get some good little extra money. It probably doesn't offset the amount of time you put in, but coaches don't either. You know, coaches don't offset that time either with pay, and so it's kind of a labor of love. It's kind of a labor of love, giving back to whatever sport you're doing, giving back to something that's given you a lot. You know, kind of that idea.
And you know, and it's like parents need to understand. I mean, you know, from Little League all the way to college, these are people just like you and I. We have another job.
Sure.
We're trying to put food on the table. We love the game and we love what we're doing. We do it because we want to, you know, give kids a chance. And yet we have parents, majority of the parents that They get out there and start chasing the referee for a bad call in any sport. I mean, they're just trying to make a living, just like us, aren't they?
Yeah, it's to me, it's always been the biggest problem with any sports program is the parents. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
they're myopic. They see only their kid and everything that, you know, if it doesn't go their way, it's wrong. But what's really bad is that they over the years it's gotten worse that they feel they're licensed to be that verbal and abusive. You know, just a lot of bad manners going on. You know,
we talked about it earlier. Is social media has made it so much easier for parents to get a hold of that coach or that referee, and basically, you know, and bully them around or say things, and this, you know, it's not a healthy.
But you know,
thing.
the best compliment I can get as an official is if someone later on says, "Who officiated that game?" and they say, "I don't know," because and so as a result, one of the things we always teach younger officials is, I don't care what the parent or the coach is saying to you, you don't have to have the last word. In fact, as a parent talks to me on the way off the field, I just say, I'm not talking to you. You know, I just be polite, but I say I can't talk to you because guess what? Silence can't be misquoted or misinterpreted. You know what I'm saying? So it's easier to me to do what you have to do, communicate how you have to communicate with the people you have to communicate, but don't worry if a parent is screaming at you. You know, don't let it. You just have to kind of be. They call it thick skin, but really you just don't react.
Right. You have to maintain a, you know, be neutral.
Because you got to remember, as officials, we have to see the game from here and here. Coaches and fans and everybody else, they see it from here. You know, exactly. So we have to just. I always remember, look, I coached for a lot of years. I know the amount of time they put in. And parents, they love their kids no matter what. You know, I have kids. I love my kids no matter what, even if they're crazy sometimes. But at the other hand, I don't have to get in an adversarial position with those people when the emotions are high. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Emotions. How do we curb that, Coach?
Well, again, it's a matter of self-discipline, and it's a matter, to me, of just your general environment today. You know, people, they're not as nice as they used to be. It just seems,
Society
seems
has
like
changed a lot.
Yeah, they're more self-centered, and they see themselves as being a victim. You know, whereas, you know, it's a game. It's a game, and the referees are people, and they make mistakes, or they make a call that you don't like. That doesn't necessarily even make it a mistake. You know, but being so self-centered, they don't view it that way. Everything is a threat to them and their kid, and it's just not so. They have to be. They have to take a step back and become more realistic.
Yeah. As coaches, we, you know, part of our job is to teach our players a little bit of respect. You know, nowadays we have to teach parents that. You know, like, you know, we get on social media, you know, we have a group chat or whatever, and parents ask questions, and we have to kind of educate them too and say, hey, look, don't forget, the first most important thing about this is your kids are having fun playing a game out there.
And these
so
these bad aspects to it take away from the fun. It's that simple. They don't add to it. It detracts from it, and ultimately it cascades down to where kids don't want to play anymore. You know, I mean, there's nothing good about bad behavior from anybody that's involved.
Right. And of course, obviously, the first person they go to is the referee. Well, the referee, you know, so many flags during the game. Well, the referee's trying to control the game a certain manner so it doesn't get an easy target. You know, how young could someone become a ref?
Well, actually, an official can become a person can become an official at 18 years old. So generally, we ask that they be out of high school, but at 18 they can start officiating, especially youth sports. Some of your little leagues and stuff have kids younger than that in the rec league area, you know. But we try to they have to be no younger than 18. Have to be out of high school. We have a due structure because we have to pay for. We have 250 people in our officiating association. We have to find places that we can accommodate those people and stuff like that. So we have to pay rent and we have to pay insurance for liability and stuff like that. So every official has to pay dues. They have to pay liability insurance in case someone's injured at a game they're at. We use National Association of Sports Officials. That's a liability insurance that covers any sport, any level, any time for a period of 1 year. And we don't even let anybody in there if they don't do that. And then the last thing, you got to pay your assigner something for assigning you to the games. But it's and of course you have uniforms. But it's not insurmountable. For under $500, you can be involved.
Wow.
Yeah, in my time in San Diego, I remember when I first started coaching, quite a few of the officials were younger. They were PE majors. They were planning on becoming coaches or even young coaches, and they'd supplement their income a little bit, and it helped them learn the game quite a bit too. I always thought that would be a good idea to have any college with PE majors, just give them some kind of program to work together with the associations. Yeah.
Actually, in the community colleges throughout California, they already had a class constructed called sports officiating. And I've been doing my best to try to get them to offer that class at Victor Valley College or Barstow or something like that.
Why would they not?
And my idea would not just be to focus on football officials, but to focus on all officiating, and have different speakers come in and how can you get involved and stuff like that.
That's a great topic. We're gonna hold off there, folks. We're gonna come back and we're gonna address that issue here on the next show.
All right, guys, joining us now, Randy Rosenblum, LA City Section, of course, Bobby Gibson. And Randy, what's going on here in the city?
Well, we're talking baseball as Bob is eating. That's good stuff. And
It is.
I got to commend everyone here at the Yard House on the chicken. It's outstanding. I want to talk about San Pedro in baseball. I have them number one. I know the San Fernando Valley teams are all great, especially in the West Valley. El Camino Real has got two terrific pitchers in Cole Kitchen and Adam Christopher. But I look at San Pedro. This could be historic. The last team outside the San Fernando Valley to win an LA City Section title, San Pedro in '92.
Wow.
And before that, they beat Pauley.
Quite a stretch, huh?
1992, yeah. Wow. And before that, you got to go back to '72 when Venice won it. Pauley was the losing team in that game back in 1992 when San Pedro won it. Pauley's another team that has a chance this year because they have great pitching. But when you look at it, Palisades and San Pedro give the outside community, outside the San Fernando Valley this time, a realistic chance. As we look at it right now, as we do this show, San Pedro is 20-1 and has won 16 straight games. The question is pitching. Obviously, El Camino and Cleveland out of the West Valley, very strong in that regard. That will be very interesting.
When you win that many games, I just got to question your competition at this level. That's all I'm saying.
That is a big question. They do have a big win, San Pedro, over Palisades. They do have a victory over the West Valley League team, Taft. But Taft isn't the strongest team in the West Valley, and they've been getting beaten up once they've gone back to West Valley League play. But as I look at it, you can't discount 16 wins in a row. And from top to bottom, Jake Harper's a great hitter. San Pedro has really been hitting the baseball. Again, it comes down to pitching, and El Camino Real has that advantage. ECR, great program, many city titles, maybe the favorite, but San Pedro gives them a chance. The other factor, Dodger Stadium has been expanded again in terms of playoffs. The CIF Southern Section finals will be there along with the city section a week apart. It'll be, they've been there for a long time. The city section has been playing there since 1969. Wow. Another thing I do want to mention quickly, Birmingham, their football field is finally ready.
I saw that picture.
It's nice. It is a gorgeous field, but you got to remember Jim Rose's team last year had to play on the road every week. They didn't have a home game, and they still made it to the semifinals.
That's tough, man.
This year it's going to swing back. They're going to have numerous home games, and for Jim Rose, he has one of the great programs this side of Narbonne, which is by far and away the best team in the city. So I commend them when they get that field. Look for Jim Rose and Narbonne to have some competition from Birmingham. Last ad, congratulations to the Eagle Rock volleyball team. Their boys squad, 10 years in a row unbeaten in the Northern League. Their winning streak in Northern League play, 107 straight matches.
Wow, that's pretty good. They'd have a tough time against Los ALtos volleyball team. I have it on good authority. They're pretty good.
No, I would favor Los ALtos.
All right, I would too. Only because they're in the house, right, Randy?
No, because they have a good volleyball program.
Absolutely. All right, well, appreciate it, Randy. I'm looking forward to going to Dodger Stadium, watching some of these ball games.
Sure.
Southern Section made a good move by going there. I'm telling you right now, much better than Anaheim Stadium. Just saying, that's just my personal preference. I got to throw that in there.
Yeah, and
to
it's great for
rile
the
up
kids.
Everybody.
It's great for the kids. A lot of times they'll pick up the soil. They'll just want a souvenir from Dodger Stadium.
Yep.
It's been great for the LA City Section.
All right, that's enough for today. On behalf of Rosenblum, I got Bobby Gibson, Mo Orr. I'd like to thank the Lucases for coming in today. Gio for being on the show tonight. And everybody else. Good night.